váyanse ya asomando. Ya sé que son las vacaciones, pero mi invitado de hoy, súper interesante. Muchos saludos a todos los que se están uniendo, gracias. Voy a contarte hoy por qué va el programa en inglés. Mi invitado, habla español, pero se desenvuelve mucho mejor en inglés y es alguien tan interesante que no me gustaría que nos perdamos para nada pues en el hilo de las preguntas. Sugerimos un tema, un título, y ahora ya me voy a pasar al inglés. Own your time, own your life. Hazte dueño de tu tiempo, hazte dueño de tu vida. ¿Cómo vives? ¿Cómo estás viviendo? Te voy a decir algunas cifras, después quisiera leerte su semblanza, pero estas cifras son muy interesantes y voy a empezar a hablar ya en inglés para que Nicolás, que ya está escuchando y está por acá viendo, pueda entender de qué estamos hablando. Por principio la OMS en inglés, para que sepamos todos de qué estamos hablando, es la World Health Organization. Fíjate en estas cifras. So I'm going to switch to English. Thank you everybody, just like for being comprehensive. The person I invited today, he speaks better in English than in Spanish, although he does speak Spanish. He's from Switzerland. I will let you know who he is. But let me tell you something about burnout. The World Health Organization says that right now 56% of people are suffering burnout. That's a lot. It's more than the half. Then they are suffering from anxiety also. And let me tell you this number. It's 260 million people around the world. Those are the numbers that the World Health Organization today are giving us. Then let me tell you about insomnia in English. We are not sleeping. 30 and 40% of people right now in this very moment are suffering from insomnia. If you remember, we had this program like 2 months ago about burnout, and it was super interesting. Like the psychologist told us different things, but mostly she was proposing to change habits. That's the reason why I decided to invite today Nicolas. He's a CEO. I will let you know who he is very well. But chatting with him, having this talk, he shared with me that he really changed his habits, not only as a person, but also as the policies that he took as a CEO, and people were improving their life, living healthier, happier, and with this thing that we listen a lot. In Spanish, we say, no tengo tiempo, I don't have time. Every time I work with people in the different challenges, when we practice meditation, they approach to me and they say, Carla, no tengo tiempo. I don't have the time. I don't have the time to do this. I don't have the time to do that. So today we're going to learn a lot about this very beautiful topic, own your time, own your life. So my guest, Nicolas Fleury, he is a co-founder of Stractic Advisors, a strategic advisory firm based in Switzerland, and ReData, a startup providing business and market intelligence with data and artificial intelligence. He is also the founder of Fleury Leadership International, a leadership and management advisory firm specialized in sustainable high performance. He is one of the world's most respected experts in standardization. He will let us know what's that. With more than 35 years of experience at ISO, the International Organization for Standardization. He is also an honorary professor at the University of Qingdao in China, fellow at the Society for Standardization Professionals, and ambassador for HINSA Performance. He will let us know what HINSA is. He says here, it's a world leader in human high-performance coaching with clients from Fórmula 1, drivers to Fortune 500 CEOs, and members of various advisory boards. Well, let me invite him in. I have many people connected. I'm so happy because like I don't know I know it's vacation. Let me invite him. I don't know how I'm gonna invite. Let me figure out. Yes, now I know. So just a second. It's and maybe he will be here any moment now. Do you have the invitation? Yes. Hi.
Hello, Carla. Can
Oh,
you hear
I
me?
hear you perfect, as if you were here in my house.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. It's the first time that I'm using Instagram like this. So I'm a little bit anxious, you see, with the sound and everything and the
No,
video, but I could hear you and thank you very
uh,
much for the introduction.
no worries. We switched to Instagram because more people connect right now on Instagram than on Facebook. So we migrate
Mm,
and we're also learning. So no worries at all. Like we're all
mm, mm.
learning. I start always like the program and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm doing this right. Thank you very much for your time. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you again for the invitation and for the great introduction. I can spend the next hours talking about standardizations if people want to know what it is about. Uh, but basically, just an explanation. If we can exchange today on video through images, it's because of standards. We are using MPEG format, for example, and this is recognized on each and every phone. And this is the beauty of standardization. When you have a credit card, for example, you can use it everywhere in each and every country without having to worry about this. And this is thanks to standardization. And there is a lot that ISO, of which I was the CEO, is doing about that. Almost everything is standardized. You have quite a relaxed life, and this is thanks to this work.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for explaining that. We have a lot of people connected. What I really want is if you can share us your personal experience, the way, like your journey to a healthier life, because as you know, this program is focused on healthier life, mental, emotional, physical, and we're lacking a lot of that. Like we have burnouts, anxiety, depression, and we're always running, always going to the next step, to the next step. So if you want to share with us like this journey you took to a healthier life and what key changes did you make and why?
Mm. Okay, so it started about 10 years ago. I was doing a lot of things. I was having these responsibilities in ISO, not the CEO position yet, but a number two positions. And at the same time, I was involved in a lot of activities, associations, and whatever. And at a moment, the organization ISO went into a very difficult situation, close to bankruptcy, and we had to face a number of changes, and I had to lead some of the changes to try to turn around the organization and make that we can survive. And I was doing so many things. I was very busy doing everything, more or less, that I was thinking that it may be the time to see what I'm doing and me to be with the capacity to focus on what is the most important things to me at that time, which is to turn around the organization precisely.
Okay.
The situation was so difficult in the organization that there was a lot of burnouts. About 20% person out of 200 were burned out because of the challenges that we were having, and there was a lot of people not coming at work, also very low level of engagement, if you want. So I decided to actually follow a coaching sessions together with Insa Performance that you mentioned. Insa Performance is well known for coaching Formula One drivers. I will explain maybe a little bit later how it impacts my decision in that particular aspect. And I find myself starting a program to help me improving my well-being, with about 6 coaches, each of them having a specialty. There were psychologists, nutritionists, sports, I would say, coaches, physicians, etc. And I went through the different steps of the program, and my priority was to work on mental energy first, because the objective here was for me to take the best possible decisions for the organizations in a stressful environment. Then physical fitness, sleep, and nutrition. These are the things that I actually started to do.
Oh, like it sounds easy, but I mean, me as a dancer, that's the that's the thing. We do our entire life, like the discipline. But
Mm.
I know for many people that's very hard to achieve. Um, what was your breaking point? I mean, all the stress at the company, but something inside yourself, or just the stress in the company?
No, I didn't feel a lot of stress. I was worried for the company,
Hmm.
obviously. And I knew that because of the changes, there has been a change in the leadership of the organization. About 60 to 70% of the leadership left. So I was finding myself alone with one or two or three remaining leaders, directors in the company. And my focus was to help and to be able to save the organization, to do this turnaround. So I didn't myself really need a change. Maybe inside myself, there was a kind of an inner motivation I didn't know. But really, the driver was the challenges at work, and me being in a capacity to fulfill my responsibility and take and I would say drive the organization to the success. Uh, what is interesting also, I knew that I would be the number one in a short term of the
Okay.
organization, and when you have to drive a business and a company, when you are the CEO, you are the role model, and the company is going to be who you are. So, in addition, for me, being number one of the organization is actually being, the number one, like a world champion, like an
Mhm.
athlete. And I had to train like an athlete, which I didn't do before. And this is why there is this connection with INSA performance in particular and its experience with Formula One. Because for me, the connections between the sports athlete, the Formula One drivers, and the cognitive athlete, the CEO, the number one in the company, is very direct. And so I wanted to learn from the experience of the Formula One drivers in particular to drive the organization ISO. The headquarters in Geneva are about 220 employees, and there's about 200,000 people working for the organization across the world. So this is not a small
Yeah,
one.
I was reading the things you sent me on Hinsa, and it's very interesting. Maybe you can tell our audience, the people connected, because maybe they are not very familiarized with this kind of training. I know it works for the Formula Uno drivers. It also for elite athletes, but
Mhm.
also for people and also for CEOs. Would you like to share a little about INSA? I already put the name on the comment. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, so they have a methodology which is called the Circle of Better Life, which has been developed by Dr. Aki Insa. And Dr. Aki Insa was working in Africa, and he got experience with the marathon runners in Africa. He wanted to understand how they could actually perform to that level of performance. And out of that, he developed for his Finnish and for Finnish athletes, a methodology, precisely the Circle of Better Life, which would help them to perform like the marathoners in Africa would perform and were performing. And he has been involved actually in Formula One, helping the driver Mika Hakkinen. He's a Finnish Formula One driver who became world champion. At some point, he was fighting against Michael Schumacher, who has been also a multiple world champion, and he got a very bad accident, and he almost died. And Dr. Hakinsa helped him to, I would say, being back to top fitness and to help him being back on Formula One tracks. And the year after his accident, he could become the a world champion of Formula One. And so he continued and he shared this experience with other Formula One drivers. If you go to the INSA website, you will see the palmarès of INSA Performance. They are coaching more than half of the Formula One drivers. So Lewis Hamilton, for example, Max Verstappen are coached also by INSA Performance. And you will also discover what is this circle of better life. Briefly, you look in your core. The idea is the methodology is to answer the questions: who you are, where are you going, and are you controlling of your life? And after that, you will look at the different components of the circle of life, like mental energy, like nutrition, like physical activity, and this and that. So I can only invite you to go to the website to discover more of this.
I will share the link later when we end the transmission, but it's super interesting. If you had to distill your approach into 3 essential steps for improving overall well-being, what would they be?
So for me, it's first improve the sleep. You talked about the lack of sleep that everyone is having, and this is for me the fundamental. If you don't sleep well, you don't have any energy, and you won't be able to do anything the rest of the day. It's simple as that. I went through some experiments and research done by university in the UK, and it was interesting to see that under 6 hours of sleep, actually, your cognitive performance is reduced and you are kind of angry. So your mood is kind of bad. And when you are a CEO and you don't sleep or you sleep less than 6 hours and you are of a bad mood with regards to your employees, it's not going to work well. That's for sure. So for me, sleep is really at the beginning of everything. If you want to improve your well-being, start by improving your sleep. Then start moving, even if you are tired. This is what I learned to do. I was so busy doing everything that I could not do any kind of exercises, and this is extremely exhausting. One aspect, and I was wrong also about that. I was thinking that, relaxing on the couch would help me to recover and build energy again. But it is exactly the reverse. Don't go to I would say, on the couch. You go out, you walk, you run, or you move, you do whatever is good for you, even 3, 4, 5, or 10 minutes, and you are going to gain energy again. And it's very important. And what I did, for example, in my work as a CEO, being super busy, I cut my schedule into slots of 45 minutes. And systematically, between the slots of 45 minutes, I'm having 15 minutes of a break where I recover. So that was something that I learned. And then the third point is, and my advice from my experience is look at what you eat, and not just only in terms of food, but anything that you can absorb also mentally. For example, TV, social media, the stuff you buy, whatever. It's burning a lot of energy. It's burning taking a lot of attention. If you want to focus on your objectives, they can be very rapidly destructive. They can take a lot of your time. They can exhaust you. And this is something that I would also advise to look at very consciously.
You sound like an asset, una Z en español.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not, but one thing that I did after I told you that within coaching, I started with a psychologist for 3 months, looking at the core precisely, who I am, where I am going, and am I in control of my life? And when we talk about times, for example, this is something which is very important. The point for me was to be able to focus on what I had to do for the organization. And I realized that I was distracted by a lot of things. And one of the aspects that I did too is to look at how I was spending my time during a day. And it was fascinating to see that I was doing a lot of things which were not contributing to anything highly valuable, if I can say so. And these were distracting me from the essence, from the essential. So I look at what I was doing, and with regards to my objective, well, I established a checklist with everything what I was doing. And this was including also the friends, for example, that I was having. And I was questioning, is this friend contributing to my objective, or am I wasting time? Is this activity contributing to my objective, or am I wasting time, or am I distracted, etc.? And then out of that, I decided to precisely eliminate what was actually not contributing to my objectives and keep what was highly contributing to my objectives. Ultimately, when you are talking about aesthetic, I went into minimalism also for my own stuff, my own object and things like that. I reduced my wardrobes to 2 pairs of jeans and 3 white shirts, so that in the morning I don't have to think what I'm going to put. And so it's keeping my energy levels high. I'm not distracted by that, and in the end, it helps also your brain to get more energy, to focus, a higher capacity to focus, and not to be distracted, and being busy by things that are really valuable.
They are putting here, Danny, the stomach is considered as the third brain. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Let me ask you something. Burnout is rampant these days, and from your CEO perspective, what practical policies can leaders put in place in order to help teams thrive and I mean not just survive? Because sometimes I listen to people like, I'm surviving my job. Oh my God, I hope this day ends. Oh my God, I really hate what I do. And I listen to that a lot during the classes I teach. So what would be practical policies?
Well, I think more than a policy is an attitude, and it's management practices. And I think that there is a problem in companies is that we have this heritage of, I would say, Fordisms and the work at the manufacturer, where we want, in a way, to keep employees under control. And I've been observing this in many companies. When you are a CEO, actually, you are in a position of
Yeah.
power. And in a way, it's very exciting, and it's dopamine generating, if I can say so. You feel great, etc. But uh, and one aspect is that we tend to be willing to keep this power, and it's so exciting that we want to demonstrate the power. And how most of the leaders do this is by willing to control the people, and this is the major mistake. For me, the power and the greatest power that you can have is by unleashing everything and losing control on things. And here you are going to get maximum freedom, and you are going to get maximum power at the same time. So what I have observed in companies is that first, leaders and CEOs, they do not give a good sense of directions. The employees are not included in decisions. There is this command and control style. Do what I tell
Yeah.
you to do, uh, even if they do not have a single idea of the job that the employees are doing because they haven't been educated. Like, I'm not a finance guy, so I'm not going to tell my finance people what to do. They are the experts. I'm not the experts, for example. But some people and some CEOs still maintain that they can do that. They give little autonomy to the employees. This is a major problem. They fill days with endless meeting. They are constantly interrupting people, etc. They send mails at each and every time of the day, of the week, etc. They multiply projects and they give realistic targets. So for me, this is a problem of management style, management practices that needs to change. And what I did in ISO actually is that I precisely tried to unleash from the command and control. What I did is to fully trust employees and let them do the job and let them organize the way they want, which means that they can come to the office at any moment when they want. They can leave the office when they want. They can decide to work from home if they want to work from home. They can decide when they judge it is necessary to come back to the office to work in teams or whatever. But there was a kind of a contract, is that it was very clear where we had to go with the organizations and what had
Oh, I think.
Freedom, I would say, was the counterpart of these clear directions and expectations in terms of deliveries and objectives. And by giving this freedom to employees, first of all, they felt very empowered. They got much more engaged, and we obtained incredible results. So we gave freedom to the employees, and everyone, I would say, stayed loyal to the organization. Maybe one or two person decided to benefit from themselves of this freedom, but this was not a problem, and I didn't want to rule by
Yeah.
the exceptions. You see.
You know, when I was checking the questions, I was studying what I was going to ask you, and something jumped into my mind, and I want to make that point out. Like from a CEO point of view, like it's easy what you're telling, but many people, they are employees, so like they bang against people that are very, as you said, freak controls. They are always asking me,
Mm.
Carla, please do a podcast about my narcissist boss. And I'm like, no, I don't want
Mm.
to do that program. But really, it's like something you listen like commonly. And sometimes as an employee, you cannot change the way management is done. You have to follow the rules, right? Um, what would you recommend, like for normal people, like the common employees? What could be like a mindset shift if they feel like they are lacking of time, that they are always busy, that they are not listened at their jobs? What would be a recommendation for them?
Well, Um, this is a tough question, I find, because what you are describing with the bosses and the very narcissistic bosses, and it's so common, and I don't think that there is a lot that people can do against this in a company. What I'm doing now in my position is that I'm trying to contribute to university programs and trying to influence changes in programs in terms of management, business administration, etc., so that you integrate this concept and this way of managing people. And this is where we can really make a difference. And I'm trying to do that, but it will take time. I could even see, managers or CEOs having half of the company burning out and don't even reflecting about what's happening and questioning themselves about what they are doing right or wrong in that particular case. So it's very tough, and of course for employees it's even tougher. What I would recommend, and it's always difficult in that particular case because each and every life is unique. It's specific. You have to take care of plenty of things. You may have some
Yeah.
constraints. In ISO, for example, I decided to organize a individual coaching for employees who could, on a confidential basis, for example, exchange about their family problems, their financial problems if they have, etc. So you have this context, which is not always easy. But what I would say is looking at everything you can do to improve your own well-being, getting stronger, and practicing those, I would say, activities and steps uh, that you can do on your side will help improving your level of resilience and resistance to the pressure of your bosses, to the pressure at work. So becoming stronger, enjoying also the sides and the elements that are out of the job, and work on reinforcing these aspects and make that they bring also the benefits that you are expecting from your life is important, and is something that you can do.
My two last questions, because I'm sharp with time. You cannot imagine how much I understand what you're talking about, because that's the way dancers are trained, like very disciplined. We are very in touch with our bodies, what we eat, what we see, what we listen, what we speak. It's because the body is like, it's our language, so we have to
Mm.
really take care of the whole unit. Social
Mm.
media, And I know that could be like a very long question, but people, they get connected, but I think they also get distracted. As for me, for example, I only use my social media for working, and I pay someone to answer my things because I don't want to. I don't want to be here. Sometimes people think that if you're here on the screen, that you pass your entire life here, but my life is outside. What would you recommend to people? Because sometimes it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I see people like asking, "Can you follow this? Can you follow that?" Oh my God! And I'm like, "What is this?" What would you recommend on that matter?
Mm. Well, first, you remember, as I said, in terms of
Yeah.
time and time management, and everyone is busy. Everyone doesn't sleep enough. We are spending a lot of time through various distractions, and I'm considering that social media is a distraction. And when it comes to how are you spending your time, just a little example to finish
Yeah.
maybe. One life is 80 years, okay, and on average. So this represents 700,000 hours. If you deduct the sleep, is 450,000 hours. There is not that much that is left. So what is important is to make the best possible use of your time and try, when you think about your life, precisely to replace time by life in sentence. For example, instead of saying I'm losing my time here, said I'm losing my life here. Instead of saying you make me lose my time, for example, because you arrive late, you make me lose my life. And so what I did in terms of timing also, I was looking at my time management. I was super busy, etc. I was looking at everything, how I was spending my time. I was controlling exactly how I was spending my time. And I noticed that I was spending actually, when I started the work, the coaching work with INSA, that I was spending between 2 to 3 hours on social media. 2 to 3 hours out of a day, if you add the sleeps, is between 12 to 20 percent of your time,
Mm.
or 12 or 20 hours of your life. Do you want to use your life or use 20% of your life on social media on a particular aspect? When it comes to focusing on objectives, social media is very distracting. It doesn't bring high value. It keeps your brain, being in a kind of a mode which is not producing a lot, but at the same time, you don't recover. You cannot actually recover from the stress of the day. You fear of missing a message, or you are people calling you at impossible times or something like that. So you have your brain constantly activated. So you have to think about it if it is really useful to you. For me, social media is good for companies to do their own promotion. It's a channel to make publicity, marketing, and whatever. And it's, from a personal perspective, a tool to search a job for certain person. But beyond that, I see very little value. And what I did at the time is that I just took my social media off. And you can gain a lot of time like this. How much time you spend also of your life you spend on Netflix?
Oh,
It's the same. You start with social media, then you go to Netflix, and then it's 25 or 30% of your life that you are burning through this. Think about this, and you may, at a certain point in time, rearrange precisely how you manage your life, your time, and being stronger, being more resilient also to sometimes the stress that you are facing at work, as we were talking about, but also the stress that we may face in our private lives. And you will gain time to do things that you would never think you were capable to do. Noting that you are not obliged to fill your time with activities. Not doing anything, relaxing, recovering is also extremely important. And this is how you can start becoming also very creative. This is why in the company I wanted to give time to my employees and freedom, because you solve a problem not by working on the problem, is by getting out of the problem. You go, you
right.
walk in the forest or whatever, and you forget about everything, and then the solutions are going to come. You are going to come with great ideas, with creativities, etc. And I think this is very important.
Oh, I think that's the perfect closure for this like this chat. You made me think of two different ideas. Well, I'm writing everything down, so I will share later, like maybe here or I don't know on YouTube. I work with young people and I work with the elderly, and
Mhm.
you can imagine the difference. And I'm always worried about young people. They have this FOMO, no, the fear of missing everything out. They're always on the social media and also on Netflix. Like, oh my God, they spend like hours watching series, so they end this episode and they're watching the other. So I want to propose to you that next time you're in Mexico, we work with young people. I think young people need to get coached on focusing on really knowing what they want in their lives, and to realize how much time they're spending in useless things, in useless I don't know, hobbies or whatever. If you listen to the elderly, they don't watch that much Netflix. They read a lot, even though their eyes are not good, and they don't use social media. So it's amazing to hang around them. Like, they really have these experiences, amazing ones to share, and they are so present. They care a lot about this that we're doing, listening to each other, staring at their eyes. Thank you so much. I'm so happy that you're here. I would stay like hours talking. I'm really grateful for the people that are connected. I know it's vacation, but it was very important to listen to you, because maybe when the people get back from their vacations, they will start at least thinking that they can make small changes.
Mm. Yes. Thank you very much again, Carla, for the invitation. I appreciate that very much. And yes, small changes are very important. There is a compounding effect. With small changes, you can achieve
Yeah.
big things. So thank you very
Oh,
much
yeah,
again.
big hug for you and thank you everyone. Muchísimas gracias. Yo creo que en YouTube van a estar los subtítulos de toda la entrevista, entonces lo van a poder, los que no hablen tan buen inglés, lo van a poder leer con los subtítulos en español. Gracias a mi equipo de trabajo, Beto, Fabricio, Alex, Nicolás, thank you very much. All my love for you. Muchísimas gracias. Gracias a todos. Tengan una linda noche. Un besote.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Muchas gracias
Gracias,
a todos
gracias a
también.
ti.
Gracias,
Hasta
hasta
luego.
luego.
Buenas noches.
Gracias.
Chao.
Buenas noches.
Chao,
Chao,
chao.
chao.